Imagine waking up one morning and finding out that your name, your rank, your very existence had been erased. No court-martial, no ceremony. Just a quiet meeting in a government room and a new ID handed to you. No emblem, no allegiance, just silence. That's how this story begins, with a pilot, a mission, and a government that needed him to disappear without ever leaving the room. They didn't want a soldier. They wanted a shadow, a man who no longer belonged to anything because what he was about to do couldn't be traced back to anyone. Air America was never just an airline. It was a ghost fleet owned by the CIA, dressed up as civilians, flying into the darkest corners of the Cold War. No passenger lists, no public routes, only sealed orders. For decades, it moved men, weapons, and whispers across battlefields no one claimed, and history refused to record. It operated in the grayest of areas, where war was unofficial and soldiers were unsanctioned. Every flight carried more than cargo. It carried secrets and sacrifice. There's no manual for vanishing. It begins with silence. Then comes the paper, the kind that never leaves a trail. They took his ID, his rank, his name from the database. He was no longer captain. He wasn't even Mr. He was simply operational. And if something went wrong, no one would admit he ever lived. It's a transformation you don't choose. One day you belong to the country, the next you're invisible by order. He never told anyone where he went, not even those he loved. But others who vanished like him whispered pieces of the same truth. Flights deep into enemy jungles, extractions under fire, supplies for forces that didn't officially exist, no lights, no flags, no witnesses. He wasn't sent to fight a war. He was sent to prove it never happened. His mission was denial perfectly executed, perfectly forgotten. They gave him a motel key, a one-time burner number, a mission envelope, and then nothing. No unit, no rank, no backup. For months, he lived in the in-between where names don't matter and truth becomes camouflage. You carry your mission on your back and your secrets in your heart. Even sleep becomes a calculated risk. This wasn't just rogue espionage. It was doctrine, written in Washington, taught in Langley, executed across the globe. It's called plausible deniability, a strategy where missions are so hidden, even those who order them can say they never happened. And when it's over, you're not welcomed back. You were never there. You don't exist in after-action reports. You don't show up in debriefings. Some of them talk now, quietly, to cameras and shadows. In rooms with no names. One said, "They told me I'd never flown. But I can still hear the radio, the screaming, the engine stalling over the jungle. Not for revenge, not for fame. Just to be remembered as real." They seek acknowledgement, not as heroes, but as human. Many of them came home with wounds no X-ray could see. No parades, no records, no pensions. They live quietly now in cabins, trailers, or sometimes just a name on a bench plaque in a forgotten park. They don't ask for medals, just memory. Just a moment of recognition from a world that chose to forget. Why hide all this? Because the truth costs more than war. Hidden funding, foreign deals, black site operations. Things no democracy wants on paper. But paper burns, and truth always leaves a shadow, a whisper, a scar, a story that refuses to be erased. He gave up everything, his name, his home, his history, for a mission no one would remember. But we remember Dot, and while his name may never appear in history books, his story lives in the silence between the lines. This is hidden evidence, and this was the mission so secret, everyone had to resign first.